They are the beaches where history unfolded, their names, like Omaha and Utah, now synonymous with the largest military operation in the history of the world that turned the tide of World War II. And this week, we are taking you there.
It is one of the most beautiful places in all of Europe, and if you're a history buff, you've got to come here. We are counting down the top 5 things to do in Normandy, France, in this episode of Window Seat. Hey everyone, it's Jeremy Hubbard back here in the tiny village of Saint-Marie-du-Mont in Normandy, France. Take yourself back, if you will, to the early morning hours of June 6, 1944. In that church tower behind me right there, a couple of German soldiers taking aim and firing their weapons at the Americans who had just landed on the beaches below them. It was the start of D-Day, and this was ground zero for it. And it's just one of the places you should visit when you come to Normandy. We're counting down the top 5 here, and we want to start with a bit of an outlier. It's not where you should go, but when you should go there. We're talking about the week of June 6th. That's when you gotta come.
Why exactly is that? We've been to Normandy at least 4 or 5 times, usually on a milestone anniversary of D-Day. We were here for the 70th anniversary. I was here for the 75th. I just returned for the 80th too. And this place comes alive during the first week of June. That's because even 8 decades later, this entire country is still deeply grateful for the Americans and the Allies who came ashore on these beaches and liberated these towns in June 1944. And they show up in droves to pay their respects. We first noticed it this time on the English Channel ferry ride we took to Cambe, France from England a few days before the anniversary. We have a link to that video in the upper right-hand corner of your screen right now. In the line for the ferry, a convoy of old Jeeps and Willys and restored U.S. military vehicles driven by World War II reenactors from all over the European continent. And then when we got to the small towns that dot the Normandy countryside, there they were. This place taking on a state fair-like feeling. Hot dog booths, beer vendors, men and women in uniform filling this church parking lot, sharing stories, showing off their old military vehicles, and every chance they got showing appreciation for the Americans who saved France. We came here with an amazing veterans charity called the Greatest Generations Foundation. They actually occupy an historic building right here in this town. It was once home to the German regimental military forces, up till June 6, 1944, that is. So this charity returns World War II and Vietnam veterans back to the battlefields where they served, like Normandy, and they've been doing it for 20 years. We have a link to the charity in the video description below, but suffice it to say, if you come here during the first week of June, and we're talking any year, not just big milestone anniversaries, you are bound to see hundreds of reenactors, military memorabilia, and a whole lot of gratitude. It is such a cool feeling to be here on a D-Day anniversary. So again, if you're coming to Normandy, come in early June. A couple of words of warning though. It's usually rainy this time of year, so be ready for that, and it can also be quite hot, so be prepared. And the sun stays up late. Sunset isn't usually until about 10 p.m., but that's fun too because it means the reverie can last late into the night.
So plan your trip around June 6th, and then of course some of the things you're going to want to see when you get here. We got to start with the obvious one, and that is the American cemeteries here in this part of France.
Of course, the first one that comes to mind is the massive Normandy American Cemetery, situated on a bluff right above Omaha Beach, the very spot where so many American soldiers lost their lives on D-Day. This cemetery is home to those who died on D-Day and in the days that followed. A lot of people don't know that the American government used to give families an option: have their loved ones sent back to the United States for burial, or have them buried here in one of these overseas American cemeteries so they can have eternal rest near the battlefields where they died, alongside those they served with. The Normandy American Cemetery was established in 1956 by the American Battle Monuments Commission, and it's one of the most well-known in all of Europe, where 9,386 American military personnel are buried, mostly those, again, who lost their lives on D-Day and in the Normandy campaign. There is a spectacular semicircular memorial with a bronze statue called Spirit of American Youth Rising from the Waves. This is the spot where commemorations on D-Day often take place, as we saw during the 80th anniversary in June. There are reflecting pools, a chapel, a garden of the missing with the names of 1,557 Americans inscribed on its stone walls. They went missing in action. The Visitor Center provides history and context about the D-Day landings and tells the stories of those buried here. It is a very reverent and respectful place, and its sheer scale allows you to comprehend the terrible losses that came with helping to liberate the European continent from Hitler's grip. Further inland near the town of St. James, you'll find the Brittany American Cemetery. There are 4,410 American military personnel buried here. They died mostly in the Normandy and Brittany campaigns while trying to liberate this region. There's a beautiful memorial here too, and a wall with the names of nearly 500 missing soldiers etched in stone. The grounds are meticulously maintained with pathways and landscapes designed to create a serene and respectful environment. While much smaller than the Normandy American Cemetery, it's equally important and historic, and it's another must-see. And by the way, it's much less crowded. While the Normandy American Cemetery gets more than 1 million visitors a year, Brittany usually only gets 30,000 or so. So come check out either one or both of them if you can when you make it to Normandy.
They are amazing, reverent places, but as long as we're talking about cemeteries, there's another one you should visit here in Normandy, and a lot of people don't think about it. It's the German cemetery in Normandy.
The Cambe German War Cemetery is the largest German military cemetery in the region. It opened in 1961 but had been used as a burial site before that. In it, more than 21,000 graves of German soldiers who died during the Battle of Normandy, mostly on D-Day and in the days that followed. In the middle is a memorial which serves as a mass grave for 300 unknown soldiers. On top of the mound is a lava cross flanked by 2 statues representing mourning soldiers. Initially, after World War II, the burial sites of German soldiers were scattered across Normandy, but in the early 1950s, the German War Graves Commission began efforts to consolidate the graves into centralized cemeteries. This cemetery not only serves as a place of mourning, but also as a symbol of reconciliation between former enemies. It underscores the human cost of war and the importance of peace. And while it gets far fewer visitors than the nearby Normandy American Cemetery, it is still worth a visit. One thing that strikes you immediately is that it's much more dark and somber than the American Cemetery. Markers that are flat to the ground, unlike the big bright white stone slabs that mark the burial site of the Americans down the road. They do have memorial ceremonies here as well, so check your calendar if that's something you'd like to include in your trip. We'll put a link to the German cemetery in the video description below.
The next stop on your trip to Normandy, France has got to be that place that you see all over Instagram, but you can't quite figure out where it is. It turns out it's right here. We're talking about Mont Saint-Michel.
Mont Saint-Michel is a unique and stunning landmark right here in Normandy. It's a small, rocky island featuring a stunning medieval abbey and village surrounded by tidal waters. It's been occupied since ancient times. In fact, according to legend, the archangel Michael appeared to a bishop in the year 708 and instructed him to build a church on the rocky isle. Construction of the abbey began in the 10th century. It continued for several hundred more years, leading to its current Gothic and Romanesque architecture. It became an important pilgrimage site. During the Hundred Years' War, Mont Saint-Michel held out against English attacks, bolstering its reputation as an impregnable stronghold. Its fortifications were enhanced, and it served as both a religious site and a defensive position. The abbey was closed and used as a prison during the French Revolution and into the 19th century, and it was declared an historic monument in 1874, and extensive restoration work has been carried out ever since. The village at the base of the abbey includes medieval houses, shops, museums. The narrow streets and ancient buildings give a glimpse into the past. Mont Saint-Michel is famous for its dramatic tidal changes, which can vary greatly. During high tide, the island appears completely surrounded by water, while at low tide, it's accessible by a causeway. The surrounding bay is characterized by extensive mudflats and quicksand, making access historically difficult. A modern causeway, though, with a shuttle service, provides access to the island regardless of the tide. And in 2014, a new bridge was opened, allowing water to flow more freely and helping preserve the natural environment. Mont Saint-Michel attracts more than 3 million visitors every year, making it one of France's most popular tourist destinations. Guided tours of the abbey are available, providing insights into its history and architecture. Various museums and exhibits in the village offer additional context. The island has several hotels, restaurants, and souvenir shops catering to tourists as well. Special events, including religious services, medieval festivals, and concerts, are held throughout the year. Mont Saint-Michel and its bay were recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1979 in recognition of their cultural significance and natural beauty. The place has inspired numerous artists, writers, filmmakers. Its dramatic appearance and rich history make it the subject of fascination. It's a symbol of French national pride and a testament to the ingenuity and perseverance of its builders. It is stunning. Best times to visit are spring and fall when the weather's pleasant and the crowds are smaller. And check the tide schedule. It's crucial for planning a visit to experience the full dramatic effect of the tidal changes. Various tour operators offer day trips from major cities like Paris. You can access it by train, bus, and car. Mont Saint-Michel, it is a unique and captivating site that combines natural beauty, historical significance, and architectural grandeur.
High tide, low tide, no matter when you go, that place is amazing. You're going to want to check it out when you come to Normandy. Next up on the list, you've got to pay respect to the history that unfolded here by taking a walk on one of the beaches on the Normandy coast.
History aside, these are beautiful, wide-open beaches that are a great place to spend a spring or summer weekend. Walking along the golden sand, taking in the sea air, playing in the water. It is a very popular summer vacation spot. But it's very hard to put history aside because obviously one of the most important events of the last century unfolded right here on this sand. So any history buff in your group is going to love a trip to the beaches of Normandy, and they all have famous names. There's Omaha Beach, one of the primary landing sites during the D-Day invasion of June 6, 1944 by American forces. This beach is serene and expansive with fine golden sand and gentle waves. Despite its peaceful appearance, it is a place of profound historical significance. Utah Beach was another key American landing site on D-Day. It's less crowded than Omaha Beach, with dunes and wider sandy expanses. Nearby, you'll find the Utah Beach Museum, located right on the beach. This museum offering a detailed exhibit on the planning and execution of those D-Day landings. Then there's Gold Beach, one of the British landing sites on D-Day. You'll find a mix of sandy beaches and rocky areas with remnants of artificial mulberry harbors that they used during the invasion. Juno Beach was the primary Canadian landing site on D-Day. It's known for its wide beaches with dunes and a more residential feel. You'll find here the Juno Beach Center. It's a museum dedicated to the Canadian War effort with exhibits and personal stories for those who fought. And then there's Sword Beach, another British landing site on D-Day. It's a blend of sandy beaches and areas developed with holiday homes and facilities. It's close to Pegasus Bridge, a site that commemorates the British airborne troops who captured it in a daring glider assault. Visiting the Normandy beaches offers a tangible connection to World War II history. The preserved bunkers, the memorials, the museums, all providing deep insight into the events of D-Day and the broader Normandy campaign. Many visitors find the experience profoundly moving, especially when visiting cemeteries, reading the stories of the soldiers who fought and died here. The contrast between the peaceful present-day beaches and their violent past really can be striking.
And finally, on our list of the top 5 things to see and do in Normandy, France, is any one of the villages around here. Just pick a cute little village, spend some time there. We are spending time in the village of Saint-Marie-du-Mont.
And you can take your pick. There are a bunch of different options. For D-Day history, check out Saint-Mary-Glaise. You'll notice the figure of a paratrooper hanging from the cathedral. That was put there for the 67th anniversary of D-Day to memorialize an actual paratrooper who pretended to be dead for hours when his parachute got caught on the church steeple during the Allied invasion. This town is very fun and festive and full of D-Day history. We also mentioned Saint-Marie-du-Mont. It's a great little village near Utah Beach. Steeped in history, it's got a gorgeous cathedral right in the center of town, which, as we said, is always a hotbed of activity on and around June 6th every year. And Caen is a city with a rich historical heritage, including the impressive Caen Castle, built by William the Conqueror. The city also houses the Memorial de Caen, a museum dedicated to World War II and the Battle of Normandy. Its abbeys, churches, and lively markets add to the appeal. And then, of course, as we mentioned, Mont Saint-Michel, it is a must-visit in Normandy for reasons we already explained. Truth is, you can't go wrong. Pick a quaint village to rent an Airbnb, get a car, and explore the French countryside. I promise, no matter where you are going to love it.
So there you have it. From the cemeteries to the beaches to the villages, there are a ton of things to do in Normandy, France. It truly is one of the most gorgeous places on this continent, and it is steeped in history. So if you like history, this is the place for you. As you can hear these Jeeps revving behind me here, some of the reenactors who've come here for the week of June 6th. What a treat for them, and what a treat it is for us to be here during that time for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. That's it for this episode of Window Seat. I'm Jeremy Hubbard in Normandy, France. We hope you like and share this video so we can spread the word about what we're doing here as we travel to every country on Earth. And we'd really love it if you subscribe so we can get the community talking about what it's like to travel the globe. I'm at 73 countries right now. Sean's at 77. We continue our quest for every country on Earth. We're back with a brand new video next Friday morning at 8 a.m. here on Window Seat. Meantime, we hope you enjoy one of these other episodes from Window Seat.